Chairman of Senate Oversight in the House tonight.
The Dan York State of Mind program is brought to you in part by Lookout Rhode Island and Takeo Comfort Solutions.
Welcome aboard. You remember last week I had Dan McGowan from the Boston Globe here, and we talked about at length this skerfuffle over an education contract here in Rhode Island that has now been the subject of Senate and House oversight review and now a state police investigation. It is, I think, I'm not sure which is the bigger boondoggle, to be honest with you, the actual procurement or the actual process of oversight. But the chairman of Senate Oversight is here, and he's always accessible. Lou DiPalma is with us, and he'll join us momentarily. We'll set up the story for you in just a minute, but glad to have you aboard. Thanks very much for tuning in. Vaccines, still the overriding concern in the country and here. And as we recorded this show on Thursday, which is our normal scheduled time for this weekend show that you see on Fox on Friday night and on 12 on Sunday, this headline indicated that as we were just an hour shy of this press briefing, that the governor and the Department of Health were ready to introduce the procedure for vaccinating kids ages 5 to 11. I'm just hoping that many of you as parents, check your conscience, but before you check your conscience, check your doctor. This is about expertise. This is about decisions that are sometimes above our own pay grades. So hopefully we get a good dent in the youth vaccination rate, which again helps to diminish the spread of the virus, which takes it from pandemic to endemic, and we can all start to live our lives in a regular way. So details on that over the weekend and on WPRI weekdays 3 to 6, and perhaps back here in the next week or so. In the meantime, politics. We have a new entry into the governor's race. She is Helena Foulkes, former high-level CVS executive, also most recently worked with a Canadian company that paid her buco bucks to get out of CVS. She is obviously a huge success in the business world, no doubt. Here is the latest on her announcements.
Rhode Island's next governor won't be decided until next November 2022, but a year ahead of time, we're now seeing a 5th Democrat and 0 Republicans so far throw their hats in the ring to unseat Governor Dan McKee, who's also expected to run. The latest Democrat to enter, Helena Foulkes, has not run for office before, but has strong Democratic political ties. She's the niece of former Connecticut Senator Chris Dodd and granddaughter of the late Senator Thomas Dodd. She's longtime friends with Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo, and her mother was college roommates and lifelong friends with Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi. Foulkes herself is no stranger to holding positions of power, though. The 57-year-old was once named to Fortune magazine's most powerful women in business as executive vice president at CVS Health, Rhode Island's largest company. Foulkes now has the task of making herself known to Rhode Islanders as she campaigns against Secretary of State Nellie Gorbea, General Treasurer Seth Magaziner, former Secretary of State Matt Brown, and second-time gubernatorial candidate Dr. Luis Daniel Munoz.
And so that provides an interesting, anybody else want to jump into this race? I'll ask the senator in a few minutes if he wants to jump into it. Look, you got 6 candidates, 5 financially formidable, running for the Democratic primary in 2022, and I don't know whether this is going to get longer or shorter. I think the most unhappy this week would be Nellie Gorbea. If you are interested in gender politics, meaning choosing a woman to be governor, she had the territory exclusively. Now she does not. From a business point of view, the governor smarts a little bit on this one because he is most known, I think, in the last couple of years for his lieutenant gubernatorial advocacy for small business. If there's a business conceptual tie to Helena Foulkes, it might be problematic for him. At the same time, she has a finance record that will challenge Seth Magaziner's exclusivity on that via the treasurer's race. And you know, Matt Brown is still sniffing around on the progressive movement, trying to find his niche there. I will tell you this, though. If you're a McKee fan, you have to think to yourself, you know what? All you got to do is not make too many mistakes and govern competently, and an incumbent ought to be able to carve out 30, 31, 32% in a 5-person primary. It's just the way it goes. The key in the primary next year will be whether independent voters will come into the Democratic primary. Sometimes independent voters say, you know what, it's the big enchilada, it's the general election that I'm most concerned with. And with open primaries here in the state, it's a different dynamic. If McKee is able to bring independent voters into the primary, he'll do well. If he's not, he'll get lost in the shuffle. But again, you know what? It's a long way away, and these seasons are now way too long. As for Mrs. Folks, she's obviously highly competent and certainly qualified to make this leap into politics, although she had the unmitigated gall in her announcement to suggest that she's never thought about running for office, which is, as far as I'm concerned, a silly fib. You just saw the resume. She's the niece of Chris Dodd, the granddaughter of Tom Dodd. Her mother roomed with Nancy Pelosi, and she's great friends with Gina Raimondo. But she never thought about running for office. You know what? I crave authenticity. Do you? In the meantime, here is the overview, a couple of minutes worth here from Ted Nesi on the ILO. What's ILO? You'll learn here. Investigation.
Senators zeroed in on a Zoom meeting that Governor Dan McKee held days after he took office, and they questioned whether this entire bidding process was designed to benefit one company.
The objective of the hearing is to get a handle on all the facts.
Senate Oversight Committee Chairman Lou DiPalma kicking off the first hearing on the controversial ILO Group contract. The McKee administration receiving bipartisan criticism.
It doesn't hold water. It does not hold water.
My mom always used to say, where there's smoke, there's fire, right? And there's a lot of smoke here.
As Target 12 first revealed, the state awarded ILO an education consulting contract, partly to help reopen schools during the pandemic, despite the fact the company bid millions more than an experienced competitor. ILO was incorporated 2 days after McKee took office, and at the time, ILO's managing partner was an executive at a nonprofit led by the governor's longtime ally, Mike McGee. Officials insisted no corners were cut.
The evaluation itself was handled by 4 experienced individuals. It was extremely comprehensive. It was fair. It was thorough.
But senators pointed to this entry on the governor's calendar, showing McKee scheduled a meeting with Mike McGee and the state purchasing agent the same week he took office and ILO was incorporated. Senator Stephen Archambault pressed Department of Administration Director Jim Thorson about that meeting.
I didn't know who ILO was.
With all due respect, I didn't ask you if you knew who ILO was. ILO was discussed in the Zoom meeting. Isn't that correct?
Within the context that Mike McGee had known people at ILO.
It was discussed in the Zoom meeting. That's
yes.
Correct, right?
Correct.
Under questioning, witnesses also disclosed that the value of ILO's contract was set at up to $5.2 million by the governor's staff, not the independent review team that had vetted the company.
Who decided the breakup of $900,000 to West Ed?
So
Maximum,
once they were deemed eligible, the agency, in this case the governor's office, had further discussions with the vendors and then decided how to break up the work.
The ILO contract is funded with federal coronavirus relief dollars. Lawmakers are set to continue scrutinizing the deal at 2 more hearings on Wednesday. With the Target 12 investigators, Ted Nesi, 12 News.
No doubt a comprehensive report there from Ted, but I will tell you, as you put these parts together, you can make this thing look like a Watergate investigation. I think it's all hullabaloo about nothing, and the chairman will probably disagree. Welcome, Lou. Nice to have you.
Good to be back.
State Senator Lou DiPalma. Just give me an executive summary of where you think this stands right now, then we'll dig into it in segments 2 and 3.
So obviously the Senate did its oversight hearing a week or so ago to ask the questions, get the facts. Facts and data about the situation. We've received many more facts than I thought we were going to get to help fill in, create the piece of the puzzles to make the picture.
The administration was cooperative, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely very cooperative with regards to Director Thorson, Nancy McIntyre, the Director of Purchasing, and Dan Major. And I had spoken with all the folks ahead of time, shared them with all the information we had that all the senators had received. In addition, we had put together a timeline that was shared. So it's really out of our hands now. Obviously, I was surprised when what transpired on Friday actually happened.
What, with the state police?
Correct, and the AG.
Why?
I don't believe there's anything criminal here. I really do. I don't think, why, I'm assuming they would get involved other than that.
You caused it. You caused it. Senate oversight makes a Watergate type of environment. What do you think, the state police going to pick their nose the entire way? Of course they're going to step in and say, hey, you know what? All this is going on. We're going to take a good look at it. I'm so happy the state police are looking at this whole thing. I would think in 30 days or less they'll be able to come back and say, there's no there there, and can we move on?
And that's what I expect they will do. It's the case where this is about process. It's not about people whatsoever. Everything I look at is about, I take the person out of the mix. People will be a part of it because there are people doing things. In the case here, whether it's PPSD, Providence Public School Department, or it's Eleanor Slater Hospital, obviously people are in the mix because that's what happens, what they do or don't do. But it's not about, it's about the process.
Well, yeah, listen, and we'll talk more about this when we come back with the senator. They have every right in the world to have oversight on this whole thing. It's how you conduct it that we should talk about. Stay with us.
I don't think you did anything illegal. Do I think it was some bad judgment? I gotta tell you, yeah, I do. I'd be lying to say otherwise. I mean, there's just no way I can put lipstick on this one.
Pat Serpa, who I'm very fond of, she is the peer to Senator DiPalma. She runs House Oversight. Lou runs Senate Oversight. Jim Thorson and Dan Major, the two administration officials who were there for both versions of the oversight. Look, you're saying you're just collecting facts and data. The truth of the matter is that you opined significantly on this in this hearing, suggesting that things didn't add up, that there were not financial equivalencies that you thought were necessary.
Correct.
Namely, this West Ed consultation that got 20% of the bid procurement result that this ILO Group received. West Ed doesn't do, it seems to me, based on my reading of this thing, West Ed doesn't do what ILO may be able to very well do, which is to fulfill this dream the governor has of municipal education facilities. That is look, I've said before, I think the governor's office made a significant mistake in not announcing their intent to do all of this, and then let everybody know that procurement would be necessary.
Correct.
I think if they had done that and this thing had come in that way, you would never have an oversight hearing. Do you agree with me?
For most of it. The one part I disagree, Dan, is the piece is this. When you, and I've gone through the evaluation of the proposals, and I've been involved in proposals in my private side, what I do in my daily work. They evaluated all the they had 5 bidders. The 2 top bidders, which we're talking about here, West Ed, or ILO was number 1, West Ed was number 2. ILO had 63 points out of 70 maximum points you can get on your technical proposal. West Ed got 62 out of 70 maximum points on their technical proposal. One of the categories was, do you have a detailed work plan to meet the requirements of the RFP? Out of 15 points, West Ed got 13, I believe it was, and ILO got 14. So when, at the end of the day, when the comment was made and reading through the technical evaluation memo, it just didn't add up. Because at the end of the day, if you've given me, if you're ILO and I'm West Ed, you get 63 points out of 70. I get 62 points.
Yeah, you know, it's like, look, you're a smart business guy. I have an employment contract with this TV station or with the radio station. It's 30 pages long.
Right.
At the end of the day, what we do off the contract is never replicated in the contract. Is why, by the way, I have always complained about the teacher union contracts being too busy and lengthy, because they overmanage just about every aspect of education. My point here is that there's a procurement process that sets up the opportunity to go ahead and perform the work, but the work is the creative juice and the experience. West Ed has decades of excellence in categories of educational consultation. ILO is a newly formed group. I don't know why anybody's thinking this is a smoking gun. This guy McGee is a great friend of McKee's.
I know
he helped us set up this Cumberland thing that was the model for all of this. He's aligned with these people. You know, they're not selling crack cocaine. They're selling education consultancy. The organization was formed to be able to, it's like if you and I were buddies and we say, hey, you know what, the state's got a procurement process, we can do that together. Why don't we form an entity? If we formed an entity 2 days in advance of the procurement process to be a legal recipient of a contract, what's the big deal? What is the smoking gun here, Lou?
So a couple of the pieces are the meeting that, so as you and I formed this entity, the day before we have a meeting with the chief executive, CEO, in the case of the business here, right? The governor's the CEO of the state in all intents and purposes. We're going to be meeting with him the next day to talk about this. Is going to come up in the conversation, and Director Thorson.
But there's nobody from ILO that was in this big meeting.
Except
she wasn't there.
She was supposed to
Mike
be there.
McGee was there.
Right.
And Mike McGee is her liaison. Look, the governor's trying to find out. He calls a meeting and says, you know what, we got to figure out how to do this education municipal thing, and I'm concerned about COVID opening, and God knows what else. Now this test and stay, they'll probably do some work on that, right?
Which is the right thing to do, by the way.
I agree.
Categorically.
Right. Okay, so he's brainstorming. You know, the procurement guy was explaining to you. Sometimes the state needs advice from the people that are actually going to bid on business in order to be able to form the right kind of procurement, in order to be able to get the right kind of agreement, to get the right kind of work done. So there's nothing to figure. Archibald, who was in the meeting? You know, you had the meeting. Now, once you put the procurement out, you can't have special dealings with anybody that's bidding.
Right.
None of that happened here.
No, but the piece, there weren't meetings with WestEd, who's been with the state for a couple decades.
Because McKee has no familiarity with them.
No, I understand, but if I put,
and they hadn't put the procurement thing out yet, and they brought the procurement agent in because I'm sure the administration guy, Thorson, who I think is very competent, probably said, you know what, hey, listen, can you join this meeting because the governor's brainstorming. This might need procurement. I just don't think we can go out and hire somebody. And that was the stopgap that caused a procurement process that lasted what, 10 weeks? It was messy, right? Because no one could figure out to the governor. You've known the governor a long time. Sometimes you can't figure out exactly. I mean, not that he's inarticulate. It's just he thinks he's got this vision. It's hard to put the vision in a procurement process. Right. That's all.
Right.
Jesus, honestly, this thing. I'm fit to be tied with the kind of hysteria that has surrounded this whole thing.
It's the sequence. It comes down to this, from an open, transparent perspective, and having to answer the process, the timeline, who was involved when. With regards to, and you can have that. I've been involved with procurements at the federal level, and I'm doing those. I do those internationally as well. Right. Once that RFP comes out, we don't answer the phone.
And they didn't.
I understand. But prior to that, all the calls, all the meetings can happen. You're doing one with ILO. You can do one with WestEd, who has, and they, based on how they bifurcated the work, you could do a conversation with WestEd as well, who's here, who's been doing work with the state for a couple decades. That didn't happen. Within 13 days, the RFP goes out.
I'm sure that the McKee administration was looking at this thing. You know, this is a transition time. It's urgent on the governor's mind on the COVID side, meaning school openings, which ironically really never worked out much because the schools seem to be able to do most of that work for themselves, which means that $5 million billing number will never be reached. There's no way that that's going to happen. It's an up to thing. You know, he's got people around him he's familiar with. The guy's part of his transition team, meaning McGee. They're shooting the breeze about this whole thing. They're having a meeting on how they can establish this municipal ed thing. They don't know WestEd, but they're not going to give the McGee's friends the deal until the whole thing is procured and someone else or many have a chance to bid on it, and they did.
The other piece in the process, which is
I don't get it,
going to the end, and I've gone through and I asked, because I want to understand the facts and the data, how many of these procurements have you done? And this is with Dan Major and Nancy McIntyre. Like I said, I'm always going to do my homework, so I asked for these a couple weeks in advance. We're looking through some of those, meeting with the Senate President to say why I think this is important to do. No, I don't believe we've ever done this, and even the ones they sent, where we started with the RFP that had a single or dual award, and at the end was a master pricing agreement. Has not occurred.
Nobody in this audience gets any of that. I understand the weeds are important, but it's how this whole thing evolved.
It's process.
It's process.
Absolutely.
But you know what? Smoke, where there's smoke, there's a lot of smoke, and on the House side, you got a Republican Representative Chippendale talking about the stinky seafood on the dock, and that's why this whole thing smells. Everybody wants their soundbite to say I'm oversight and I'm good government, but nobody wants to do the diligence or actually take a reasonable approach and get their politics out of it, and that's what annoys me about this. A couple more questions for Lou about where we're going with this when we come back. Stay with us.
There's never been something that said that, that the procedures were not followed. So procedures were followed during that procurement process.
Look, the state police is about. You said at the beginning, Senator DiPalma, that you're kind of surprised that the state police got into this thing. when legislators are talking about, not you, I mean, you talk, by the way, you haven't said you're an engineer once tonight because you usually are talking about your engineer experience, but you're thinking, you go, this doesn't make sense to me, I'll give you leeway on that. I mean, that's part of the oversight, that's fine. But the legislators talking about smoke and fire and smelly seafood at the end of the dock. And the state police has to, I mean, the AG hasn't stepped in formally yet. Now, obviously, the state police are law enforcement for the AG. But, you know, for them to step in, they kind of step in just because of all of the rhetoric that surrounded this whole thing. And by the way, not for nothing, I see you as a completely honest guy. But in terms of perception, you competed for the lieutenant governor's job.
I did, yeah.
It might be wise for you as the chairman when you're investigating the governor to be able to say, by the way, not for nothing, take it with a grain of salt. You know, I competed for the governor's job. Doesn't mean you have to recuse, but I mean, everybody's got perception issues here, not just Governor McKee. And there's a lot of politics going on here.
But with that piece, though, I'm also served on his, and I did even after that, his transition team, one of the senior advisors on
right.
And I was an advisor on his lieutenant governor back. We've been friends.
Well,
we saw each other.
I think those things sometimes,
Saturday,
you know,
it's not about the people.
Full disclosure goes all sorts of ways, and I'm not suggesting that you have anything nefarious going on here. I'm just saying, you know, it's a multi-way street. At the end of the day, I'm guessing the state police will come up with nothing. What have we learned from this, though? Give me what you think Senate oversight can recommend to the administration about what they learned here.
So I think there's a couple, at least one thing, with regards to our procurement process, I think there's really two.
No. And I only have a minute, so if you will.
The procurement's going to start with whatever structure's been set up of how you're going to procure the services. If you're going to change the services at the end, dramatically. I talked to say what's dramatic. In this case here, they were going to issue a single award via the request for proposal, and at the end they created a master pricing agreement. If you're going to do that, you stop the competition and you start over. That's number one. Number two, if you're putting out a, whatever our request for proposal you're putting out, the executing organization. So in this case here, education, this is education. The Rhode Island Department of Education should have been involved with what the work's going to do.
But you know what? I'll take those recommendations as fair. I think they're fair. And for that, the oversight, I think, is worthy. The rhetoric from others, not so much. Thanks for the clarification. Good to see you.
Good to
Senator Lou DiPalma. Final word when we come back. Maybe a lesson or two learned by the McKee administration on this ILO deal. ILO needs to do some work. The McKee administration needs to set up the parameters for what the work is, let the public see the work, judge the metrics, and move from there. And all the chirping is just political white noise. Have a great night. See ya.